Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We are on the test server, there it is. And we're checking out Zinogre Blademaster, or Zinogre. Is it Zinogre? A type of ogre? Maybe that makes sense. I believe the Monster Hunter lore is that all of these names here are the types of monster that they're making their equipment out of. So it's pretty cool. Let us know what a Zinogre is. I'm curious. Or a Zinogre. I don't know. It's fun to learn about this stuff. Monster Hunter's a cool game. But she is the new fusion. It's going to be starting, well, I'll probably release this video on Thursday, I suppose. So it should probably be starting today. So I'm here to help you decide, is it worth going for this champion? And honestly, I think I wasn't super impressed with her when I did like my first impressions looking at all of these champions. I thought she was okay. And I think having playtested her now, I was too harsh. She has actually impressed me a bit, and I'm going to show you how and why here in today's video. So let's take a look at her. First of all, I really slept on this, but my god, a 30% speed in dungeons aura is just insanely good, right? That is so powerful, in particular for Fire Knight, right? Perhaps even for spiders, more so for Fire Knight, I think, where you're really trying to stay in control of speed. The speed requirements are very high. That can make it so much easier for everyone. I hadn't really focused on it because for me, later in the game, it's perhaps not a huge problem, but man, for a lot of people, that's massive. It really is. Her A1 is a triple hit that can put weaken. Her A2 is a quad hit that gives her turn meter and increased speed to all allies. Her A3 is a 4-hitter that gives her increased attack before attacking. Amazing. The first 2 hits can put leech, and the third and fourth hit can put decreased attack. Then she's got her passive, so she does more damage the more HP she's lost, up to 50%. Doubles that bonus if their target's under decreased defense. And then she also has a very interesting passive that prevents her death and keeps her alive on 1 HP when hit by a fatal hit, then heals her by 50% max HP, but doesn't prevent her death if she's under heal reduction. Now, this actually looks a little weird. This happened a couple of times in my testing, and I didn't realize it popped off, because I'm kind of used to, let's say, Leorius, right? Or Skullcrown, and they get the unkillable buff, and it's really obvious. Doesn't happen with her, and because she heals herself straight back up afterwards. Sometimes you might not notice. Also, if it's a multi-hit attack, because she doesn't get unkillable, she'll block the first hit, survive, heal up, but then the second hit could kill her. So there's a couple of times where she just fell over dead, and I went, wait, is this bugged? I thought this champion was supposed to have like an unkillable passive. Well, not quite. It's a death prevention passive. But yeah, there's a little nuance to it, which is interesting. Also, a little nuance here. Deadwood Jedi pointed this out actually right before I recorded this video in the content creator test server chat. So she does more damage when she's dropping on HP. So if her HP is low, more damage. That seems great. She puts a leech on her A3 on the first and second hit. So her A3 is basically going to full heal her every single time in a 3-turn cooldown, like at the start of the move. So there's a big anti-synergy there. She cannot actually really maintain this passive. It's weird, unless you built her with no accuracy, which I suppose is something you could do and might do for some speedruns. There's some spicy stuff happening there for sure, but it's just worth pointing out that if she has accuracy, she's gonna heal herself up and stop the passive here from working, which is weird. Let's look at how I built her. So I've gone for fast damage, basically 4.7k attack, 259 speed, 254% crit damage. Honestly, your speed could probably be slower than this. I was trying to slot her into just my normal type of Fire Knight hard team. I've got 3 different teams to show you here today, and she's got 261 accuracy, so not super crazy high in the accuracy, but for Fire Knight hard, we don't need that much. For her masteries, I have brought her over to Giant Slayer, though I do think Helm Smasher could be very strong as well, and typical sort of A1 stuff over here. That's sort of our multi-hit single target nuker stuff. And over in the support tree, did give her Evil Eye because we are going to check her out in Fire Knight normal as well. Sniper to make her better at placing the weaken on the A1, which I think is quite a useful thing. So let's go. I've got, like I said, 3 different Fire Knight teams to show you that will show different things, basically, is the goal. So first of all, let's jump into stage 25 of Fire Knight. Don't look at that team. Top secret team. We'll come back to it. Not really. But here she is for a Fire Knight hard stage 25 team that can do it very consistently and well. Now, we've got extremely good champions, yes, but still, she comes in, brings the speed aura. And yeah, we've got increased speed already from Archmage Helmet. Let's click play so we can see it go. you could, there is a replacement for her in this team, which is usually this sort of all epic team would have a Royal Guard in the lead. What's the difference between the two? Honestly, not that much. They're very similar in what they bring. You get the decreased speed, backup decreased speed from Royal Guard. We obviously have that from Stag Knight, but we get the backup decreased speed. Sorry, from Royal Guard. We don't get it with Zinogre. Royal Guard gives you an attack aura. She gives you a speed aura, which is better overall, I would say. She gives a backup increased speed with Helmet, which might be useful, might not. But that sort of gives you a rough gist of what is going on. So for the first couple of waves, it's really the Seer game, right? Helmet gives us buffs. Seer rips them off, kills everyone. We've got the AoE decreased defense from Stag Knight. We get to the boss, and hopefully Allure is going to be keeping this down. We've got the triple hit A1 from Blademaster, which is really nice to help to rip this stuff off. I probably should have set Seer to open with her A1. That would have been better, and Helmet opening with his A1 or A3 as well, I suppose. Now the shield is down, and between Allure, especially once this decreased speed goes on, should keep that turn meter down totally fine. So there we go. We've got decreased attack and leech. Even if the boss somehow did take a turn, we've got the decreased attack from her. I guess Helmet brings it, sorry, Stag Knight does bring it as well, but it's worth noting. You can see she's doing some pretty decent smacks right here. We'd really hope for the weaken, right? She brings in a weaken on her A1, which is some sort of unique value, but we've got to get lucky for her to place it. But yeah, you can see the single target damage. It's pretty decent. And with the 4 hits, right? That's a lot of potential. Here she goes. Increase attack. She's really not wanting to use Giant Slayer, is she? she's got performance anxiety, okay? She's got 4 hits, 4 chances to proc Giant Slayer. Here we go. There's one proc. We got 1 proc of Giant Slayer. But that's the thing with these 4 hits, it's a lot of opportunities to proc the Giant Slayer and to do potentially really big damage. And because she's bringing in her own increased attack as well, she is going to hit pretty hard. So yeah, here we go. It looks like it's going to be, yeah, about 2 minutes 10 run. With the Zinogre Blademaster. Now, in this team, her damage not super crazy. It's really Seer doing most of it, even Stag Knight and the AoE. But she's bringing pretty big single target boss damage. Not essential, though, right? Makes the speed requirements easier, and that could be important. But you could, like I said, you could put in a Royal Guard. What might be interesting is if you didn't have Helmet, Helmet is sort of key to the team, I would say, in a way, because he brings so many buffs for Seer. But if you didn't have Helmet, she does bring you increased speed, which is nice. And the weaken is nice. If you didn't have a Seer, right, you could bring weaken from her. So there's some options there. There's ways to tweak it. So she certainly has potential for Fire Knight Hard. All the multi-hits, the single target damage is nice, some utility. So she's a good, solid champion. When we come across to Fire Knight Hard, then, unfortunately, I would find it a little bit too difficult. I don't have a stage 10 setup built. Now, where things really get interesting for Fire Knight Hard, let me show you the team we're going to use first, or the first team we're going to use, then we're going to make it change. Okay, so this is sort of the team I would use, except usually I have Razzlevarg in the lead, and I have a Cold Heart instead of Zinogre Blademaster. And again, Cold Heart is bringing us that multi-hit A1, multi-hits to take down the shield, and she's bringing us, again, really good single target damage. So Zinogre Blademaster is doing a very similar thing. What is very interesting, we bring this up, Shadowkin, all right? We have Farrakhan the Fat in as our budget ally attack. If you get Lady Mikage, I do not have her. If we jump back for a second, right? A upgrade from Farrakhan the Fat, of course, is Lady Mikage, which everyone can get. Increase attack and crit damage for everyone, and then all allies, yeah? But her A1 attacks one enemy with a random ally from the Shadowkin faction that will use their default skill. Guess who's from the Shadowkin? Zinogre Blademasters from Shadowkin. So every Lady Mikage A1 is going to be pulling in this blade combo from Zinogre Blademaster. I think that is where she could potentially really, really take off. Let's see how this version of the team works, and then we'll make the change to make this even more accessible, I think, in a pretty big way. So let's go in here, and let's click go, and let's go. So one thing I did with this team was I actually turned off her A2, the one that gives increased speed on wave 1. And this is sort of the idea, something of a unique thing that she brings with this team. Just to make it really easy to control the waves, is she's going to save her increased speed for wave 2. So it's going to help us stay on top of it, get back to our moves on time, etc. So let's see, here we go. So there we go, increased speed is on straight away. Now Razzlevarg I think is almost ready to apply it again, but it's just giving us a little bit of an extra boost right here. To hopefully potentially make it through fairly unscathed. Let's see. Okay, decreased defense goes on. Actually, the backup decrease attack there is somewhat useful. I don't think she's going to get a go. Actually, he did Knight of the Rabbit first, so I wasn't paying attention to the increased speed. There we go, and we take that down. So, I mean, nice and simple, absolutely ripping through the waves. We come to the boss. Razzle opens with this A1. Zinogre can open with whatever. She's actually opened with a quad hit, which is nice. And increased speed as well. So actually, you might want to do that. Have her turn off increased speed after she uses it the first time on wave 2. Maybe you don't need it wave 2. Save her increased speed for the boss just to make sure you get nice and on top of it. But like at this point, we've decreased speed on the boss. His turn meter was fully pushed back by Newt. And yeah, here she goes in. Again, she's smacking the boss pretty hard. Giant Slayer is so strong, right? Every Giant Slayer proc is giving her 60,000 damage, which is kind of equal to 3 hits of her quad hit move. It's a lot of damage. Right, she goes in again, like 20k per hit. She actually hit 77,000 right there with the decreased defense weaken on. The Giant Slayer even more powerful now. So yeah, it just adds up to quite a lot of damage. She should be going in again with one of her quad hits. Pretty sure. Yeah. Increased speed one, the quad hits, multiple Giant Slayer procs there, and again we're wearing the boss down. And this run should come out just above 2 minutes. Now here's the thing, with this exact team comp, I said I used Cold Heart before. Guess what? This team works basically the same with Cold Heart. There's almost no different. It works exactly the same with Cold Heart. So yeah, Zinogre Blademaster this time coming in with really big damage from that longer fight against the boss. She actually out-damaged Newt, which is really nice. And the speed aura, again, is really, really nice. And the extra utility, the weaken, as well, to up the damage of everyone. Because we turn Newt's weaken off on the boss, he needs to keep using his A1 as much as possible. So Newt does not get to put weaken on the boss. The weaken's upping the speed a bit. But like I said, Cold Heart, the team works almost exactly the same. So I said, okay, what if we take out Razzlevarg? Because he was a little while ago now at this point. Now we've got the 2 epics. Noose is unfortunately essential for this exact team. I said we need another multi-hitter. So what I was trying was, I saw this is on the Hell Hades Optimizer. I thought, hey, that's an interesting team. So let's throw him in. How about we throw in a Kemptum? So Kemptum, he's coming in. He's not in anything particularly crazy. And he can sort of do his moves. They're all triple hits, so he can do whatever he wants. I guess we'll have him don't use but opener on wave 1 and then do whatever he wants. And yeah, this is going to be slower, obviously. But what is the idea of this team? Well, if we take Razzlevarg out, we have lost our increased speed. Well, actually not so, because we got increased speed from Blademaster. In fact, a good chunk of a Kemptum's damage comes from them actually taking turns and taking the poisons. So we could even, you know, somewhat potentially have her turn off her increased speed move on every wave. That is something that could work. I'd say for this one, just make sure we turn off the Stagnite A2 on wave 1. I think we probably have. I think we're fine. She goes in with a counter. Yeah, kills him with just her A1 or whatever move that was. Here we go. Actually lines up well. We get like decreased defense. We get the Hex out. The Hex actually kind of nice, right? You can see every time Blademaster is doing the single target hits, it is duplicating a little bit across. You know, it's not going to clear the wave, but it's a little bit extra, right? We're still going to be mostly killing this. In fact, almost entirely killing the wave at single target damage. Let's see how we do. There we go. He's dead. Slamming in. She might kill Venus. Oh, not quite. It's close. Not quite. She might die here, actually. Zinogre could die here. Actually, we'd be in danger of losing Stagnite. This could get a little sketchy. No, we're good. We're saved. But it's a nice thing. Even if you build her super squishy, you know, because you need to build her to hit hard to actually do damage. Even if she died, her passive would pop her right back up. She would actually survive. So we come in against the boss. We're getting some A1s. She's gone in with her A3 this time. The increased attack version. The 4 hits. Lovely. Boss shield is down. we didn't actually land a decreased speed this time. I think that is an issue because we don't have Phantom Touch on her or on Akemtum. I think Phantom Touch would make this more consistent. I think if you add up the moves, we don't have quite enough hits to remove the Fire Knight shield and actually land decreased speed with Stag Knight A1. So Phantom Touch on either her or Akemtum would actually add up to a lot and make the run a good bit more consistent there. But anyway, we've got the shield down now at this point. The boss might still take a turn. I am curious. It's certainly... it's very possible. I think he will take a turn for sure. Here's a decreased speed, but it's pretty late on. Newt, I doubt, will make it back. It's going to be close, but she's put on the decreased attack. That's very consistent. Yeah, he's going to take a turn. Oh, no, never mind. Newt got in. We built it just fine, even with some fallback. I was curious if he'd take a turn and she gets smacked. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. So it's kind of assuming we'd see other people die, but her passive actually save her. And then we go in with the ally attack. So yeah, this team is... He might... Oh, he will take a turn. Here we go. Bonk. She died. And she's just dead. So what happened there? Is it a multi-hit? I guess it is. Is it a multi-hit attack? Tell me what's going on there. Now, I think he still dies just from the poison. The one thing to watch out, I'd say, with this team is that... Actually, this is going to be pretty close. No, yeah, he dies from the poisons. Cool. So, yeah, there you go. Like I said, it's more of a 3-minute team. This one is a little sketchy. 69 turns. That's quite nice. But I think this team could work. Again, you might want to refine it a little bit. That was a little too close for me, I would say. Maybe some tweaking there, but I'm not 100% sure why she died. That was weird. Either I'm missing something. So he doesn't put heal reduction. I don't think that's a 2-hitter move, but it killed her. I'm very intrigued what happened there. It looked like he just killed her just in one shot. Let me know. You guys will probably know. If that's a bug, well, I mean, then it's a super easy run, actually. It should be fine, because you can build everybody else pretty tanky. They should not die to the Fire Knight hit with decreased attack on, which you will definitely have between her and Stag Knight. So you're totally safe at that point. And this becomes a very safe run. And really, this would work with anyone that's got like a triple hit A1 with wave clear. So you could put in, like, I don't know, I guess in theory, a Foley. Anyone, like literally almost anybody. You could put in probably a Cold Heart would probably work as well. Anything would work. So long as you got enough multi-hits with the A1 and the ally attack to take down the shield and let Stag Knight and Noose do the turn meter manipulation. Like, you're all good. Zinogre, she's bringing you in. I'm going to feel so bad if I've called her Zinogre. I guess Zinogre is totally wrong. It's Zinogre, isn't it? Zinogre would be G-O or E, but it's O-G. Zinogre Blademaster, Zinogre. She brings you the speed aura, which is great, and the increased speed, which we don't have otherwise. So yeah, you could definitely tweak this. Like, I'd be curious. You could rerun this maybe. Let's do it one more time and let's see how it would go. Like, if we turn off Blade Strike on both, does that just ruin it? And if she opens with Blade Strike there, I am very curious if that just ruins it. I think we can also actually open with Beatdown on wave 1. I wasn't able to do it with the first version of the team because he actually wasn't getting Beatdown back. We killed the wave so quickly that he wasn't getting it back on time to actually have it for the boss. So that was an issue, which I didn't run into the Cold Heart team, but just the extra damage from Zinogre. Let's see. Here we go. So we're smashing through. Lots of poisons going out. Single target damage is big. I didn't actually pay attention to how much damage she did in the last fight either. Let's see. I'm curious if this will work or if this might break it. It can be quite temperamental, this Fire Knight thing, because you're running on a bit of an edge. Like, this second wave is actually quite nasty. So maybe without having the decreased speed, with the exact speed tune we have now, it does look kind of sketchy to me. It does look like we might die. Like, if they get... Yeah, this might actually kill us. Let's find out. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty dodgy. I'm very worried that Stag Knight might just die. So we actually do need that increased speed. Unless she kills this guy, which she might. Close. Farrakhan? The burns? The burns? Don't die, Stag Knight. We still have... How many turns of burn? Uh-oh. There's 3 turns of burn left. That is enough to kill him. Oh no, there's more than that. I miscounted. Oh yeah, he's dead. He died to the burns. Okay, that's unfortunate. Let me run that one more time. No, that's too inconsistent. It's totally not consistent enough. So you definitely would want to. That's just really interesting how tricky this, even the waves are. Again, this is something. Let me also say that. So you would definitely want to. We could even say don't use opener. That would probably work really well. Just have it get back to it quicker on the other wave. This is also where that Lady Mikage would even enhance this even more, because then you've got the ally attack with her, but you could also flip her over into form 2 for wave 2, right? And use her moves, and it's totally cool. Then she can come in and she can do an AoE stun, and you're like super safe on the second wave. So that would be an insane combo, and that would certainly open up the possibility for I think with the Mikage especially, that would open up certainly a possibility for Fire Knight 10. But yeah, let me run this through once more just to make sure we're all good, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so here's a spicy thing at the end. The debuff bar actually filled up with the poisons from a Kemptum, so we actually are unable to freeze the boss anymore. So you can't push his turn, like you'll see, debuff blocked, right? His turn meter actually cannot go down, but you actually do enough damage that he dies anyway on this stage. Now, what was interesting, I ran that again. We failed again, right? And I realized that using Farrakhan's ally attack on wave 1 was pushing us through wave 1 too quickly, and then wave 2 is a problem. So this seems to be the setup here that I've got with these champions. Now, again, like I said, this is such a volatile dungeon. There's possibly loads of different speed ranges, especially because their speed aura is so high, but this is what's working for me with the setup. So Zinogre at 265 with these stats, A2 off on wave 1, off but open on wave 2, and then number 1 priority on wave 3. A Kemptum off but open on wave 1, and then do whatever. Farrakhan beatdown off on round 2, and then on the boss, turn off Brand of Shame. That would fill the debuff bar up way too fast, but beat down on priority 1. Stag Knight off but open with Huntmaster, and then do whatever but open with his A1 on the boss for the double hit, right, to help take down the shield. And then Newt off but open with his A2 on wave 1. Then do whatever. You could even potentially turn this off on wave 1 and open with it on wave 2 for the decrease attack. Like, maybe that could help, but this is what's working right now. I think any little tweaks can break it, which is funny. Then he gets the boss priority 1 on Blessed Bash and turn off his A2, and that is what works. She's at 265, Akemtum 268, Farrakhan 261, Stag Knight 273, and Newt 257. The order also matters as well, because the ally attack will call in her first, then Akemtum. If you've got Lady Mikage, it will do hers, which is nice. Then it will do Stag Knight, then Newt. The order is important because Newt's A1 is the most important one for the turn meter pushback. You don't want to miss out on those. So I think, like I said, without any phantom touch on these champs, Stag Knight with the ally attack, I think his 2 hits are breaking the shield. He doesn't actually, I think, get to place decreased speed, but Newt can do turn meter control. All this stuff matters. It's small, so check your team order. All that stuff. You might need to troubleshoot it, but yeah, there'll be stuff for the optimizer, I'm sure, very quickly, and it'll work out. Now, let's look at Fire Knight Stage 10. Now, what is interesting about this to me, if I whip this over, you cannot see, so hang on. If I stick in... No, that's the wrong button. If I stick in the Hell Hades optimizer here, these are teams that I could run on my account, and actually interesting that there are teams that you can run now. The Creodan plus Newt combo seems to have opened up a lot of stuff. So pretty straight. I could actually do a double ally attack, either 2 Farrakhans or Farrakhan and Kreela with Creodan. Now, interestingly enough, because Kreela's ally attack doesn't bring in everybody, my assumption is that this only succeeds if her ally attack calls in both Creodan and Newt. If it brings in Farrakhan instead, who's only a single hit and doesn't have the freeze, it looks like it fails. Honestly, that failure rate for me is too high to say that this team is not worth it. In fact, we can filter that out at this point. Let's say we really only want a 96% success rate. That seems reasonable. Any less than that, and it's not super worthwhile. So there is a Kreela team that works, and this one's interesting. So this Kreela team is bringing in a Krutraxa. Now, you could, I think, replace Krutraxa with Zinogre. She doesn't have a quad hit A1. She has a 4 hitting A1. Zinogre only has a 3, but you might be able to make that work. Krutraxa's basically a 5 hitting A2 if you think about the extra turn. So I'm not 100% sure, but maybe. Now, the issue with this, if you look at the speeds, right, the speeds are crazy high. You're basically rebuilding your entire roster in insane gear. That's why I didn't bother doing it, right? To me, that's just not worthwhile. It's just not worth it. Yeah, so that's why I didn't actually go for it. Looks like it can be a 100% team, but my gosh, you've got to invest some crazy stuff. This one seems more likely, and these are somewhat more reasonable speeds, but you're still building everyone over 300. So yeah, Zinogre might come into this. I keep calling her Zinogre. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's baked in. I can't escape. Zinogre might help with the speed aura. That could be a thing. I will say it is certainly enough and increased. Actually, that's true. These teams without Razelvarg, they don't have increased speed. It's like if I look at the Razelvarg variant here, no, their speeds are still pretty crazy high. Doesn't make a difference, but it's something that's worth considering. I would certainly say I've not tested it here, but for me, considering that Zinogre is, I think she's got huge potential for Fire Knight Hard. Yes, I definitely think she does. She could come in potentially to some speed teams as well as we get more better stuff. She could be decent, so I would pick her up just in case. She is absolutely going to destroy both Fire Knights in the Cursed City, so that's super worthwhile. And absolutely, again, something I cannot test. I don't have Lady Mikage. I cannot test it. But if you have Lady Mikage, then again, she becomes, I think, even stronger because she is a Shadowkin, and suddenly the Mikage A1 is bringing in her A1 as well. So that's going to be really strong too. Really worthwhile considering because, yeah, that's otherwise something you don't have. Like looking at these, there aren't any Shadowkin coming in. So that Mikage ally attack team becomes a lot stronger with her. So there's stuff you can do. So yeah, I actually think this fusion is from what I've seen so far, there's definitely enough here to say this is a must-do fusion if you can, right? If you can do it, I would definitely do it because of her potential for Fire Knight Heart. Like, maybe you just use Razelvarg and she's not important, but I think there's enough interesting stuff here that she's worth grabbing. So there you go. That is my look here at her. Again, I didn't really show her anywhere else. I think that this is really the area where she's particularly good, but she's going to be good, like single target damage against nearly every boss and like increased speed, weaken, leech, decrease attack. She brings her own increased attack. She's got to be solid against most bosses, right? Realistically, in Doom Tower, that sort of thing. She'll be good in Doom Tower. She'd be okay for Hydra, like as an increased speed champ. She'd be okay with single target damage. Not amazing, but she'd be fine. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know. What do you think of this fusion? Are you going to go for it? For me, definitely. I definitely am. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.